Hey y'all, what's up? Jamie, that's me here. Welcome back to the channel, honey, for another review on Reasonable Doubt. Okay, I think this might be episode 4. It actually came on last week, girl, and I did not get a chance to get the review out. So I'm like, let me hurry up and get it out, girl, before the next episode pops up on us. Okay, so Daniel is in the hospital, right? Because he confronted Kalisha's cousin Morgan and her boyfriend outside of a pawn shop. He ended up getting beat up and put in the hospital. So Jax decided that she was going to pull up on him, check on him or whatnot. And while she's there, Brayden ends up giving her a call because he's thinking about stepping down from his company. And she doesn't think this is a good idea. So she decides that she's going to rush over there to have a conversation with him, leaving Mr. Daniel in the hospital for him to get his rest. Although he really is ready to get back to work. But she like, don't tell nobody. You really need to, take a break, get you some rest, okay? So once Jax gets over to Brayden's house, she learns that this idea of him stepping down was an idea of Theo's. I don't trust Theo. I don't know what Theo got going on, but it's something about him I don't necessarily And he gonna sit up there talking about something. Well, we wanted him to focus on the case. And then Miss Jax said, no, baby, that's my job. That's why he hired me, for me to focus on the case, okay? So I think it would be crazy for him to step down because it's only going to make him look like he's more guilty than what he really is. Because meanwhile, Miss Jax truly believes that Brayden is innocent. But I wouldn't be surprised, girl, if she ended up getting him off and he really was a bit guilty and had something to do with, Miss Kalisha's death or whatever. Now, Jax wants to have a conversation with Brayden and his wife so she could talk to them about maintaining some type of united front in front of the people, okay, while he's going through this process. Meanwhile, Theo was over there talking to Jack's partner about him not being in charge of the case when it was the expectation that he was going to be in charge of the case, right? So one, it seems like Theo doesn't really like black women, which makes me question his involvement with Kalisha's death. You know what I'm saying? But I have to say, when the wife first came out there and she came to say, oh, the kids want to say goodnight or whatever, I don't know if y'all noticed, if y'all could go back and watch it, but she walks out there, say the kids want to say goodnight. She kind of does a pivot and she kind of gets eye contact with Theo. And, she goes on about her business or whatever. But I don't know if it was before or after she said what she said. But what I do notice is that there was some eye contact that was made. So I was like, oh, it was very quick, but I was like, could they possibly be in on this? Like, could they both have done something? Because obviously he don't like black women or whatever. At least that's the vibe that I'm getting. And I don't know what her stance is. So I was like, girl, was they having an affair or something like that? Or is they in some stuff together? Is Theo related to her or whatever? I don't know. But it ain't looking too good, okay? So there's that. Now let's get into Jax's family life. We'll talk about the family life and then we'll go into her work life and the other clients that she has, okay? So her son, he's a mess. He be up there cussing and stuff, and I really want her to put a belt to his ass, okay? He is heavily affected by the separation, I must say. He is definitely affected by it. His grades are tanking. He ain't got no respect for his mama. It seemed like he lost all respect for that woman. So he really is going through his preteen phase in addition to his family or his parents separating or whatever. So him having to, go to this house on this weekend and go to that house, then always got a mama that's just too damn busy for him. Like, he's a mess because his mama's a mess, okay? So anyway, she ends up telling her son, or at least she ends up telling her husband, like, yo, I need you to talk to your son. And he's like, well, I already did talk to him because he asked me about us being separated. And I told him that it's only temporary and we not really divorcing, so he could get that out his head. Now, I don't remember exactly how Jax responded to that. I think she kind of was glad that he had to talk with his son, and she felt much better that he had to talk. But then at the same time, I don't know how to read Jax because it's kind of like, do you want a divorce? Because sometimes it makes me think that you do want a divorce, but maybe not. If you get to smash whoever you want to smash and your husband get to watch, maybe you okay with where you at. Who knows, okay? So anyway, later on, we see that she tries to have a talk with her son, and she was telling, because she was getting ready to go out on a date, y'all. She was going to go out on this date with Damon, and she stopped by her son's room and say, hey, you need me? Because I can cancel if you need me to. I could cancel. He was like, no, you ain't got to cancel or whatever. And I'm sitting over here like, of course he's going to say no. If you felt the need to ask your child if they need you, then you should have just made it a family night with you and your kids instead of you trying to run out and be somewhat hot in the pants, but not really giving it away to somebody that you used to represent, but also was attracted to at the same time. Like, you should have just canceled it, period. But anyway, when she leaves out the room, he gonna sit up there and lock the door. And I said, I know he did. And she turned around like, wait wait a minute, I know he did. So then she tells him, don't lock no doors in this house. That's not what we do. I was like, facts. And let him do it again. I'll fuck around and take the lock off the door. And if you want to get real froggy and act funny with that, I'll take the whole goddamn door off. Excuse me? But by the end of the episode, girl, we did see that she did exactly what I was thinking, girl, okay? She definitely went and took that lock off that door once she got back to the house and realized he locked the door again. And I love that she did that. And he sitting over here like, what? And it's like, what you mean, what? You don't run this house. You want to sit up here and tell me that when you at your daddy house, you get to lock your doors? I don't give a fuck what you do at your daddy house. You at my house. Who the hell do you think you are? Absolutely not. So, girl, yeah, like, I don't play like that. I'm playing like that, okay? So get in his R's. Anyway, let's go ahead and keep going. So the family, all right? We already talked about the family. So Jax is supposed to be linking up with her dad. He reached out to her, saw her, he was in town or whatever, wanted to see her. So she was excited about that. She gets ready to link up with her daddy. He never shows. She's called, text, he doesn't answer. Her mom shows up in his place, and she's kind of shocked to see her mama as she's up there about to start crying because her daddy isn't there, right? So then her mama says, listen, I told him that if he wasn't going to take his relationship with you serious, then he needs to leave you alone. So then Jax has the audacity to try to flip this situation and throw it off on her mama, like her mama is the problem. Like, you shouldn't have did that. You're the one that convinced him not to come. This is all your fault. This is your fault. And that's just so weird to me. Like, I mean, what? I don't understand. Like, I mean, she was kind of like trying to protect you. Maybe it would have been better if she would have just took a step back. He not show up and then you come back crying to her and she just consoles you, you know. But anyway, so then she tells her mom that she wishes her mom would forgive her dad the same way that she forgave. Sounds like her trash ass husband. That's what I got from it. Like, I wish you would have forgave him like you forgave that trash ass that you laying up with right now. Okay, she said, and just so you know, girl, daddy was not the only person that disappointed me. So now I'm over here thinking about the theory that y'all put out in the comments at the birthday party and how Jax wasn't quick to rush over there and say happy birthday and everything to her stepdad. A lot of you guys felt as though she was violated by him. So I do wonder, was she really violated by him? Y'all got me wondering that. Or did he break up their relationship, you know, her parents' relationship or something? Like, I don't know. Like, girl, I'm just, listen, y'all made me think about that ultimately. Was she violated by that man? The other thought, because I don't know the full history between her parents, it made me wonder, did that man come in between the relationship that her mom and dad had and she just despised him ever since? Like, I don't know. I'm just, you know, I'm wondering. That was pretty interesting for me. I ain't like how she tried to flip it on her mama, but then I don't know. I can't read Jax, y'all. I don't know. Let me just keep going. Let me not confuse myself with my own thoughts. So let's get to her work life. So back in the office, Jax is updating them on the case, right? She's letting them know what's happening. Well, Rich decided because he's pissed off, he's going to try to snitch on her. You feel what I'm saying? Because he's a bitch attorney as he is. So he snitches on Jax and says that she tried to convince Brayden to not step down from his company. I feel like what she told him was right. Like, don't do it yet because you definitely are going to make yourself look guilty if you do step down. Like, just wait. So he tried to, like, call her out talking about we do a lot of business with Brayden's board members for his company. And it may not be a good look that, you know, we not accepting his idea of stepping down or whatever the bullshit was that Rich tried to come up with. So Jax pretty much nips it in the bud and she says, I know what the fuck I'm doing and I can keep making moves how I want to make moves, okay? But I can't keep doing it if I got to stop to explain SHI to y'all every single time. And it's so I'm over here like, Rich, but why you mad though? You letting this white man get in your damn head, and it's probably the same way that white man could have got in Kalisha's head, but you don't even really know this man like that from my understanding. So you letting this man get in your head and you getting in your feelings when you was the one that begged her to be on this case. So I'm confused as to where this animosity and this issue is coming from. Talking about she talked to you like you a little person or whatever. You ain't got like you don't know how to run the damn criminal cases for real. That's not your expertise. So I don't understand. Like, you were okay taking the back seat in the beginning, so continue to take that back seat. Anyway, let's keep going. All right, let's get to her client, Damon. Okay, so Damon, he's with his brother. His brother's trying to get him to do some illegal stuff or whatnot, but he's not trying to do that because, of course, he's on probation or parole or whatever the case. So he like, I'm not trying to be stuck, tied the hell up, and gotta go back into jail. I already spent time in there for something I didn't do. I don't want to spend more time in there because you trying to entice me to do some stuff that I'm not trying to do. But the brother ended up giving him some money anyway, and he did take it, dog. So I mean, yes, all right. And that resulted in Jax meeting him for dinner or whatever. And they did speak on Brayden or whatever and how she believes that he's innocent. It sounded like Damien may not be 100% sure if he is innocent. He just sees how she moves and how passionate she is when it comes to her clients or whatever, right? So he seems to be getting frustrated at some point. This is later on in the episode, right? After first of all, his car had declined. I don't know if we talked about that when they went out to dinner. The car had declined or whatever, so she had to pay the bill. He said he was gonna get her the money back or whatever, and he'll bring it to her house. And eventually, he definitely does just that. He does bring it to her house, right? So he's frustrated at a later point in the episode about how the rules are with him being on parole and how he's not really making the money that he wants to make or whatever. So his family is trying to get him, like, old boy is trying to get him, like, listen, do this for me and then you can start seeing money. Basically, it sounds like they may be hiding drugs up under the hood of a vehicle or something. I'm not necessarily sure, right? But he did give him some money or whatever, and he said he gonna think about it. I feel like Damon is going to fall back into doing some type of illegal stuff. I do. I will hope not. I feel like he is, and I feel like Miss Jax is probably gonna have to represent him again at a later time. Ain't no telling. But anyway, that's what's going on with Damon. Let's go ahead and get to Brayden, because Brayden's kids are having a hard time at school because all of this news is getting around about their dad. So now it's affecting them. He ends up apologizing to his wife and telling her how much he needs her and all this other stuff. And she's trying to act like she don't really care. But they casted this wife perfectly, because when I look at her, I automatically do not trust her. It's something about this lady, them big old eyes or something. I'm like, she just seems so untrustworthy. I don't know what it is. Okay, so on Jax's end, they are preparing to interview the jurors for the case, okay, because he is going to trial. So they are trying to pick people that's going to more so be on his side, be on Brayden's side. Now we see Jax running in the street at night, only for the security guard to pull up next to her, the guy that she ended up smashing or whatever like that, and he wants more of her, but she says that that's not what she wants. So he tells her what they have is special and it would be dumb for them to throw it away. Now I believe that Will's criminal history involves him being a stalker, and as I've said before, he is slowly proving that to me. Okay, that's what I believe. All right. They did try to plan an event for Brayden to be a part of at some point, for him to come off as though he is a good person, right, to the people or whatever. They're trying to pretty much change his image or whatever. So when she gets lunch with the girls, or she asked one of the homegirls whether or not they could bring Brayden to her husband's type of I don't know if it's like some type of event that he's having for the people, a community event or whatever. And this is the same woman who she dissed about being with her man. Like, this is the same woman she dissed because the man is like a cheater or whatever like that. You tried to downplay this girl in her relationship, and then you want to turn around and ask her for a favor for your client. Like, get out of here. Anyway, so when she gets to lunch with the girl, she do ask her or whatever. The girl not interested, but eventually she does accept. She allows her to come through to the event and bring Brayden. So once he gets to the event, he gives this speech about him being robbed or something as a kid, and how he didn't have a gun, and how the guy that robbed him died a few weeks later, trying to make himself relatable to the people. And the crowd actually liked it, and they did support him. Now here's the kicker. This is what we really got to get to. Now while they at this event, Kalisha's husband walked up on Brayden's wife and mentioned the emails that she was sending to his wife, and she tried to act like she didn't know what he was talking about until he asked her why did you murder Kalisha? Okay, so the wife tells him to be careful if he doesn't want to end up like Kalisha. And I said, well, wait a minute, baby, what is going on? What is going on? Now, back at the office, they were getting ready for the jurors or whatever. And what stuck out was when Rich was saying, he said, oh, you trying to just load the jurors up with a bunch of black men and women? And she said something like, it ain't never called loaded when y'all have a bunch of white folks. And I was like, oh, that's right. It's a never called loaded, girl. It's a never called loaded. Let's keep going. Not Braden, but Richard, you're supposed to be here to learn. So, yes, sit back, be quiet, and learn. Now, after the jurors' selection or whatever was over, he wants to pull her to the side and tell her that he don't like being shushed. And she was like, well, I'm sorry or whatever. And then she ended up telling him again, like, I already apologized to you. Like, what else do you want from me? He don't even know what he want from her. I don't understand. Like, I'm confused, Rich. You wanted her on this project. You don't know a whole lot. And she's telling you to sit back and let her do her thing because you're not experienced in this arena. And you got the audacity to give her pushback on that. It's giving jealous. It's giving you letting Theo get in your head for whatever reason. Calm down. All right. Now, later on, we see Daniel and Jax pull up on Morgan and tells her that she needs to turn over Kalisha's laptop. And Morgan says that she didn't kill her cousin. Right, because that's what Jax was letting her know. Like, I know that you probably had something to do with that, whatever. She was like, girl, I ain't do that to my cousin. Like, she may have kicked me out or whatever, but we're all good. Like, I wouldn't do that to her or whatever. So, long story short, Jax was like, well, girl, listen. At the end of the day, you done took some property from the law, and we gonna need all of that evidence, all of that property. Okay, so if you want to go to jail for taking things or whatever, we could do that, or you could just go ahead and give it to me, and I'll give you a little coin for it. So that's what happened. She gave her some money for the laptop, and we'll find out. Hopefully, next episode was on that laptop. Now Damon pulls up over Jack's house all late at night, and it's like, nigga, you know what you're doing. If you want to get her some money back, you could have gave her that during the daytime. You could have met her for lunch again and gave her that money. You wanted to pull up to that house, the lady house all late at night and stuff like that. And he was like, oh, your husband let you have friends or whatever. She was like, no, he not here. We separated. He was like, oh, I hate that because what he said, something about, I don't know why or how he let you go, but he's a fucking dumbass. And I was like, okay, baby. Whatever he said about her husband for letting her go or losing her. And I'm sitting over here like, yeah, they're going to be smashing. They're going to be smashing real, real soon. I also feel like Damon may end up being the person to save her from that stalker man, the security guy, because he's definitely going to be a stalker and he's definitely going to show up again at a later time in the season, in my opinion. But yeah, her and Damon going to end up smashing, child. And he might cause a wedge between her and her husband or whatever. But I just feel like Jax is stupid. I feel like her husband doesn't ask for a lot, but some of her time. I mean, he's busy as well because he's in tech, and she's just not trying to alter or change or do anything. So the result is for them to live in two different houses. Like, I don't be getting Jax. Anyway, so Kalisha's husband at the end of the episode is getting ready to head out as he's getting a call from Braden's wife, and she's like, listen, you trying to link up? Because if you want to know more information about what happened to your wife, I think it's best if, we link up. And he a good one, because I feel like, girl, I ain't trying to link up with nothing, because you might turn around and get me clapped too. So why I got to link up with you? Girl, we could talk over the phone what you want. Tell me what you got to say. Okay, we could FaceTime or something, girl, but no, ma'am. No, ma'am, we're not going to do that. Okay, so anyway, that's pretty much everything that happened on the latest episode of Reasonable Doubt. I want to hear you all's thoughts and comments down below. I'm Jamie, that's me. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, share my videos. Follow me on Instagram and Twitter at Jamie, that's me, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Bye-bye.